And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza.
And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And boy, have we got a show for you today. It's a wonderful show, and I'm in a good mood. I got to tell you what, I met with my brother David today. He took me out to lunch to a magnificent Italian restaurant, a magnificent meal, and I'm looking forward to doing that over and over and over again with him. Boy, that was fun. I loved being with him. I haven't been with him for a while. But you know what? Let's talk about today's show. On today's show, we're going to discuss what's in the news, new legislation the IRS loses, and I'm going to answer your emails just like I always do. Now, on today's special segments, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take some time and I'm going to present some timely tax tips for you, and then after that, we'll have a nice session with our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. He'll be here to update us on wireless technology today. But first off, I want you to stand by for news, and before that, I want you to know that at 3:01 p.m. Pacific Time, it is currently 57 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's on its way down to 43 degrees, but I'll tell you what, we're going to give you some weather reports from areas where our listeners listen in from all around the world today. You'll be surprised what the weather is out there. But right now, let's talk about the news, the 10 things that you need to know for Wednesday, your daily look at late-breaking news, upcoming events, and the stories that'll be talked about all day today and tomorrow. We've encapsulated it so we can cover a lot of stories, and then we'll get more in depth after this. First off, the Iowa winners look to build momentum. As the campaigns move to New Hampshire, Clinton tries to turn a skin-of-her-teeth victory into a sweeping Democratic tide, while Cruz seeks to lock in his spot at the top of the GOP field. And what led to Trump's runner-up showing? The real estate mogul made a late play for evangelical voters in Iowa, but he ultimately couldn't wrest the group from Cruz. And an explosion fire blows a hole in an airliner. The blast that the pilot believes was caused by a bomb forces the plane to make an emergency landing at the airport in Somalia's capital. And Yahoo is laying off 1,700 employees. The cost cutting at the internet company is likely to determine whether CEO Marissa Mayer can save her own job. And how the United States military leaders would change the selective service. The top Army and Marine Corps generals say that they believe that women should have to register for the draft now that all combat jobs are open to them. You know what? I didn't even know they still had a draft. Can you imagine? How about this? Sexually transmitted the Zika case confirmed in Texas. It's the first instance of the virus being transmitted within the United States amid the current outbreak in the Americas. And why Saudis, Iraq keep furiously pumping oil? Their hope is that falling crude prices will push more expensive producers, such as the United States shale drillers, out of the market. And pivotal in or out referendum moves step closer. A vote on Britain's future in the European Union could come as early as June with the exchange of draft proposals aimed at keeping the, I'm getting tongue-tied, don't know why, the European Union intact. And scientists map the bedbug genome. Excuse me. The next step is to figure out how the information can be put to good use, such as to develop better insecticides. And who's got super singing gig? Well, Lady Gaga is going to sing at the national anthem before Sunday's Super Bowl, the NFL says. Well, we'll see what how that turns out. I don't usually see her anymore without seeing Tony Bennett with her, so we'll see what the heck happens with that. Well, let's talk about a little bit more in-depth news. Let's talk about that right now. Obama visits a United States mosque, says the impression of Muslims is distorted. President Barack Obama sought today to correct what he called a hugely distorted impression of Muslim Americans as he made his first visit to a U.S. mosque. He said those who demonize all Muslims for the acts of a few are playing into extremists' hands. Inserting himself into a debate that has ricocheted in the presidential campaign. Obama told parishioners at the mosque outside Baltimore that he'd heard from young Muslims worried that they'll be rounded up and kicked out of the country. He said Muslims, too, are concerned about the threat of terrorism, but are too often blamed as a group for the violent acts of the very few. Well, you know what? That is not something that's going to change anytime soon, I can tell you that. Let's talk about a little more interesting things. Once a bromance, now a brawl. Trump and Cruz go at it, and there's no holds barred. Once a bromance, now a brawl? Well, Donald Trump and Ted Cruz cast aside any veneer of kindness today to trade insults and accusations in a show of hardball politics that demonstrated the stakes for both men in the New Hampshire primary 6 days away. The billionaire mogul charged the Texas senator with fraud and called for a do-over of the Iowa caucuses. That's where Cruz's unexpected victory exposed weaknesses in Trump's unorthodox personality-driven bid for the White House. Cruz shot back with his fiercest attack yet on the man who has dominated opinion polls in New Hampshire, suggesting the reality star doesn't like the reality of losing. He's having a Trumper tantrum, Cruz told reporters. He's losing it. Yeah, well, this is just the beginning. We ain't seen nothing yet, that's for sure. Well, you know, we have an AP news break. Few Zika samples are being shared by Brazil. You know, here's the deal. The United Nations and the U.S. health officials tell the Associated Press that Brazil has yet to share enough samples and disease data needed to answer the most worrying questions about the Zika outbreak. Whether the virus is actually responsible for the increase in the number of babies born with abnormally small heads in Brazil. The lack of data is frustrating efforts to develop diagnostic tests, drugs, and vaccines. Laboratories in the United States and Europe are relying on samples from previous outbreaks. Scientists say having so little to work with is hampering their ability to track the virus's evolution. Well, I'll say, you know, you'd think anything that looks like it might become a pandemic would get more cooperation from the worldwide people. You know, a sexually transmitted case of Zika in Texas has scientists scrambling to understand how much of the risk infection through sex is for a usually mosquito-spread illness. Experts still stress that mosquitoes are the main culprit of the Zika epidemic, menacing Latin America and looming over the United States. Mosquitoes would be the great river of transmission, while sexual transmission is going to be akin to a mountain stream, said Dr. William Schaffner, an infectious disease expert at Vanderbilt University. But the Texas case has spurred more discussion about additional ways in which Zika and other illnesses, commonly thought to be carried only by mosquitoes, might be spread. Look out, folks. We haven't heard the end of this yet, that's for sure. Now, do not go away, because when we come back from these brief commercial messages, we're going to talk about a judge who refuses to throw out the sex assault case against, Bill Cosby. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Do not go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And we're talking news. You know what? I said just before we went on our commercial break that a judge refuses to throw out sex assault case against Bill Cosby. A judge refused to throw it out today, sweeping aside claims that a previous district attorney had granted the comedian immunity from prosecution a decade ago. Common Pleas Judge Stephen O'Neill issued the ruling after a hard-fought 2-day hearing. The case now moves to a preliminary hearing to determine whether there is enough evidence to try the 78-year-old Cosby on charges that he drugged and violated former Temple University Athletic Department employee Andrea Constant at his suburban Philadelphia home in 2004. The TV star could get up to 10 years in prison if convicted. Well, you know what? Where there's smoke, there's fire, right? Yeah, you got to figure, right? Absolutely. Boy, I'll tell you what. Here is one that is just unbelievable. A pilot recounts the blast on a jet in emergency return to Mogadishu. An explosion that blew a hole in a jetliner shortly after takeoff and left one man missing was believed to have been caused by a bomb, the pilot said today, describing how the crew calmed frightened passengers as smoke enveloped the cabin before he brought the plane back to Mogadishu's airport for an emergency landing. Residents of Balad, a town 30 kilometers, that's about 18 miles, north of Mogadishu, found the body of a man who might have been blown out of the Airbus 321 in Tuesday's blast, said police. Officer Mohammed Hassan Omar, the director of Somalia's Civil Aviation Authority, told state-run radio Mogadishu that authorities were not sure if the body was the missing passenger. But, you know, the passengers on the plane actually saw the guy catch fire and be dragged out of the plane. So, you know, go figure. Well, how about this? After 2 days, Syrian peace talks to take a temporary pause. Boy, that doesn't sound promising, does it? The peace talks and the Syrian civil war are taking a break. The fighting isn't, though. UN Special Envoy for Syrian Staffan de Mistura announced today there would be a temporary pause in the indirect peace talks between the government and opposition, saying the process will resume February the 25th. The delay reflects the rocky start of the talks on Monday, in which neither the government nor the opposition even acknowledged that their negotiations had officially begun. It is not the end, and it is not the failure of the talks, de Ministra told reporters after a meeting with opposition leaders. Both sides remain interested in having the political process started, he added. The conflict that began in March of 2011 has killed at least 250,000 people, displaced 11 million, and given an opening for the Islamic State group to seize large parts of the country from forces loyal to President Bashar Assad. Go figure. Let's just make his job a little easier, right? Well, New York real estate heir pleads guilty on a weapons charge. Yeah, you know what? A New York real estate heir pleaded guilty in New Orleans on Wednesday, or today, I should say, to a weapons charge and agreed to an 85-month prison sentence to move that could usher in his extradition to California to face murder charges. U.S. District Judge Kurt Engelhardt told Robert Durst that he will not make the plea final before he reviews a pre-sentencing report due in 2 weeks. Durst, 72 years old, appeared frail. He said mostly, "Yes, Your Honor," and occasionally, "I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that." Defense attorney Richard DeGuerin occasionally repeated questions into Durst's right ear. He told the judge that Durst's left ear is completely deaf. Durst wore an orange jail jumpsuit and his hands were shackled to his waist. When Durst was sworn in, the judge told him to raise his right hand, quickly amending that to "as best you can." Durst admitted that he illegally carried a .38 caliber revolver after being convicted of a felony. Boy, you know what? I thought that guy was all done already a long time ago. Who the heck knows what's going on with him? Well, how about this? Kick Messenger app is scrutinized following a 13-year-old's death. Kim Messenger, a smartphone app popular among younger teens, is on the defensive following the stabbing death of a 13-year-old girl in Virginia who told friends that she was using Kik to connect with an 18-year-old man. Like Instagram, Snapchat, and other messaging rivals, Kik provides free, easy, and instant connections to other users anywhere. Kik enables people to message each other one-on-one or in group chats and to share photos, videos, and other content. By enabling people to identify themselves only by an invented username, it provides more anonymity than services such as WhatsApp, which connect people through their cell phones. Well, we'll see what happens with that. Let's see. How about this? Halftime at the big game is among the top culture moments that's going to take place. Warren Duncan has something in common with Madonna, Beyonce, Mick Jagger, Bruce Springsteen, and Prince, and doesn't hesitate to let his grandchildren know about it every year about this time. All performed at the Super Bowl halftime show, although it wasn't quite the spectacle in Duncan's time that it is now. He was at a snare drum for the Florida A&M University Marching Band at Super Bowl III in 1969 when the New York Jets upset the Baltimore Colts. "I really hated to see it transition to what it is," Duncan said. "I really wish it would be like the traditional band halftime show. Those days have gone the other way of leather helmets." The halftime show has become one of the year's top cultural moments, so anticipated that it is commonly seen by more people than the game itself. The British band Coldplay steps into the spotlight this weekend with an expected cameo by Beyonce. The Super Bowl show can easily be divided into two eras: before Michael Jackson and after. His 1993 performance established halftime as something more than an afterthought. With the fireworks and extras, Jackson proved no gesture could be too big. Now, do not go away, because when we come back from these brief commercial messages, we're going to talk about the IRS loses. And the first case up is a husband escapes the tax on a wife's income that she got from a scam. I'll tell you all about it right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses: website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Okay, here we are. My favorite part of the show, the IRS loses. It sends chills up and down my spine, makes the hair stand up on the back of my neck. You know, it can't very well on the top of my head because I'm follically challenged here. But other than that, I just love this segment of the show. So let's get right to it. First case that the IRS loses. Well, a husband escapes the tax on his wife's income from a scam. Now, Jack Eller's wife was a cashier in an airport parking lot who joined other employees in a scam that stole from it, stealing $90,000 herself. The money was not reported on the joint tax return that she filed with Jack. Eventually, the scam was discovered. She was convicted. She and Jack divorced, and the IRS tried to collect tax from Jack on the unreported income. He protested that he had known nothing about the scam, but the IRS said that he had known about the unreported income. So Jack went to court, and this is what the judge had to say. Jack said that he didn't know about the income. His wife said that he had known about the income, but not about her scam. Well, Jack's testimony was the more credible, so he escapes the tax, which is a big deal, folks. In this particular case, not only the tax, but there would be a penalty on that of 50% of the tax owed, so it's a big deal. Here's another case that the IRS lost. A lawsuit settlement was not changed to evade tax. Let me tell you about it. David Jones owned a car dealership, sued its distributor, and received a large settlement for all claims. But soon afterward, the lawyers changed its terms to make it for personal injuries, which was always the intent. Now, damages for personal injuries are tax-free, so Jones didn't report them in his income. Later, he filed a bankruptcy, but the IRS said that his taxes were not dischargeable because the change in the settlement was made to evade taxes. Well, Jones went to court. This is what the judge said. The IRS admitted that Jones actually had suffered personal injuries, and he credibly testified that he believed the entire settlement was for those injuries. So there was no attempt to evade the tax. The IRS, they just keep trying to get into your pocket, whether it's fair, whether it's honest, whether it's not. You know what? They're not a sanctioned department of the United States government. They actually work for Congress, and their job is to collect money, and they're pretty doggone good at it. Here's another case the IRS lost. They cannot force a change of courts. This is interesting. Joyce Rainier sued the IRS in the Court of Federal Claims for a refund of an employment tax assessment that she had actually paid. Now, in response, the IRS filed a case against her and her partner in district court to collect even more of the tax that it had assessed against them 8 years earlier. It asked to have the first case suspended, saying that the second was more efficient since it covered both parties who could owe tax, possibly saving another court case. Rainier wanted the second case suspended. This is what the judge said. If the IRS was concerned about efficiency, it could have filed its own case sometime within the prior 8 years before Rainier filed hers. The first case continues. And that's the way it ought to be, right? Yeah. Well, you've heard me talk about being a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing stuff. Well, that's where we're at right now when we talk about inside the IRS. It's a little bit like the Twilight Zone. Yeah, you know what? Now, these aren't tax court cases, but these are decisions and things that the IRS has done that if you're aware of them, you can use them in your own defense or use them as to defend yourself against the IRS, at least, ahead of time with proper planning. So let me give you one. Can you claim additional damages to compensate for the income taxes that you're required to pay on a damage award that you receive? What do you think? Well, suppose you sue for damages for lost profits. Say you worked overtime and were not paid for the extra hours, and you win. The lost profits award is taxable, so you argue that you should also receive enough to cover the tax hit. The losing party will argue that you would have had to pay the tax on the profits anyway, so you're not entitled to extra damages. There are no easy answers here. This is an emerging area of civil law. State law varies in the nature of the damages are going to control whether you are permitted to ask for extra tax damages. And so the best advice I can give you, discuss this issue with your attorney before initiating the lawsuit to make sure that you've got enough damages and just cause that are there. How about this? You were audited and the IRS wants to reopen your case. That happens a lot. You know, only in very unusual circumstances will the IRS attempt to re-audit an individual or a business after a case has been closed. Now, to reopen a closed case, the IRS must show that there was fraud, malfeasance, concealment, or misrepresentation of a material fact on your part or an important mistake in mathematical calculations. How should you proceed if the IRS wants to reopen your case? Do not agree to submit to another audit until the IRS provides you with a copy of its proof that there was fraud, concealment, and all the rest of the stuff we talked about. But you better be careful. This is a situation that could lead to a criminal charge. Be sure to retain an experienced attorney to represent you, even if your accountant handled that first audit. Don't make the mistake and go off half-cocked and haywire, because I'll tell you, it can lead to real trouble for you, and you certainly don't want that to happen. Now, we're going to go for one more short commercial break. When we come back, I'm going to start with some tax tips. And the first one I'm going to deal with, I'm going to give you 14 new tax breaks that you don't want to miss. And I'm going to give them to you right after these messages. Do not go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Leinberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:33 p.m. Pacific time. It is currently 62 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. And for our listeners in New York City, it's currently 6:33 p.m. It's 56 degrees and it is raining. Yeah. And you know what? Let's talk about those tax tips that I was promising you guys. Let's start off with tax news, things that you need to know. First of all, you need to know, can you recover state taxes paid on municipal bond interest? What do you think? Well, if you've paid state income tax on interest earned from out-of-state bonds, consider filing refund claims for any tax years not yet closed by the statute of limitations. Why? The United States Supreme Court has agreed to hear in its this current term, starting in October, the case of Kentucky taxpayer who successfully challenged state law that exempts only interest on bonds issued by his state. If the taxpayer's argument that this treatment violates the U.S. Constitution's Commerce Clause proves to be correct, then the majority of states, including California and New York, that treat municipal bond interest the way Kentucky does, would have to exempt all municipal bond interest regardless of where the bonds are issued, or tax them all, and refunds might have to be granted to everybody. How about this? A new standard meal allowance rates for in-home daycare providers. Now, instead of deducting the actual cost of meals and snacks given to children or adults cared for in a person's home, which requires detailed record keeping, the provider can now deduct a standard amount. The new rates that have been announced you can put on your tax return are $1.11 for breakfast, $2.06 for lunch or dinner, and 61 cents for snacks. Now, the rates are just a little bit higher in Alaska and Hawaii, so just so that you know that the breakfast rate is $1.06, and lunch and dinner is $1.97. Snacks are 58 cents. How about this? Damages won by whistleblowers are taxable. Damages won by them. Last year, Marita Murphy won a monetary judgment against her employer for emotional distress and damage to her professional reputation caused by the employer's retaliation against her for her whistleblower activities. A lower court decided that the award was not subject to income tax. But then they went to the Court of Appeals. Now, an appellate court reviewing the same case has concluded that the award is taxable after all. The tax code treats damages to compensate for anything other than personal physical injury as taxable, and there is nothing unconstitutional about this treatment. Well, you know what? Let's talk about the 14 new tax breaks that you simply do not want to miss. I got to make sure I'm not going over on my commercial time here. Here we go. Anyway, September may well be the best time of the year for tax planning. The reason for that? Enough of the year has passed to choose which tax strategies will be the most valuable in light of the year's results to date. Now, while enough time remains before year end to take time to act on them. With this in mind, the chairman of the Tax Advisory Committee and Advisory Board, Sidney Kess, has selected the 14 new tax breaks for individuals and businesses that should not be overlooked when tax planning comes this coming year for September. It's too late for what we're doing right now, but it's not too late for this coming year. You'd better start thinking about it right now. First off, in investment tax rate changes, we've gone, they're down now, and you want to make sure that you're careful with these things. There are some tax possibilities that are going on here. At the start of the year, the tax rate owed on long-term capital gains and qualified dividends, it falls from, 0% down to 5%. And for people in the 15% or 10% tax bracket for ordinary income, which means that if you're in the 10 or 15% tax bracket, you pay no capital gains rates. So, keep that in mind. It's an opportunity for planning. People who will be eligible to pay that zero capital gains rate should defer taking capital gains until after year end. If your ordinary income tax bracket is over 15%, make gifts of capital gains and dividend-paying assets to family members, for example, your parents, who are eligible, or matter of fact, in the case of my brother Dave, to his brother Bob, who are eligible for that zero tax capital gain rate. Now, if a child is at least 18 years old now, and needs funds, but will be subject to the kiddie tax next year under the new rules, have him or her cash in gains before year end and pay tax at his own rate rather than pay the higher kiddie tax rate next year. And mortgage insurance premiums on a personal residence are deductible at all times. If you have a newly obtained mortgage insurance this year, pay your premium by year end so that you can deduct it. Mortgage insurance didn't used to be deductible. Income limits may prevent some of this deduction, but keep that in mind. And gifts to charity by direct transfer from an IRA can be made by people older than 70 and a half, but only until the end of the year. The maximum of such gifts for the year is $100,000. This is better than withholding funds from an IRA and then making a charitable gift with them that you then deduct. Because of the direct transfer, no distribution from the IRA is included in your adjusted gross income. Now, a higher AGI can have costly effects throughout your tax return, such as increasing tax on Social Security benefits. So you want to be really careful when it's coming to that kind of stuff. How about pension plan rollovers for non-spouses? They're newly available. They haven't been around for a long, long time. Funds in an employer's qualified retirement plan can, upon the death of an employee, be rolled over into an IRA for the benefit of a non-spouse beneficiary. Formerly, rollovers were possible only for spouse beneficiaries. If you have a pension plan with a non-spouse beneficiary or a non-spouse beneficiary in an IRA, revise your IRA planning now with help from an expert. And then, you know what? There's some energy-saving tax credits that are available. A tax credit of as much as $500 is available for energy-saving improvements made to your home by year end. Now, to learn more about this, visit the government's Energy Star website at www.energystar.gov and click on tax credits under the energy bill. Then the college tuition deduction, that's set to expire at year end, so you want to be careful with that. Although it didn't appear on the last tax returns, the deduction is up to $4,000 for people with an adjusted gross income of up to $130,000 on a joint return, or $65,000 on a single return, and up to $2,000 when AGI is more than those amounts, but not more than the $160,000 on the joint return, or $80,000 on a single return. If you didn't claim the deduction on your last year's return because it wasn't listed on the tax form, you can do so now and get a tax refund by filing an amended return on Form 1040X. So kind of keep that in mind. And fund a traditional IRA to convert to a Roth IRA. You know, the $100,000 income eligibility limit on people who want to convert a regular IRA to a Roth IRA is going to be repealed. So if you want to move funds to a Roth IRA, then to obtain totally tax-free investment returns in it and freedom from minimum required distributions after age 70 and a half, maximize contributions or traditional IRAs before that. Now, you aren't eligible to make a deductible IRA contribution to a traditional IRA contribution for last year because you participated in an employer's retirement plan and your income is higher than the fixed limits, which, you know, can change every year, by the way. You still can make a non-deductible contribution of $4,000 and have this deferred growth go on. How about this? An IRA to a health savings account. It's an HSA rollover. If you have an HSA, it's a health savings account, new laws that are effective let you make a one-time rollover of funds to it from an IRA if you wish to move funds into an HSA to buy health insurance or increase tax-favored savings for other future health expenditures. Consider these kind of rollovers. The ninth item here is a whistleblower's reward. Yeah, can you imagine? New laws, for the first time, gives individuals an enforceable legal right to collect a reward from the IRS for giving it information about a tax wrongdoer that leads to collection. Now, the rules: the alleged wrongdoer, the individual or business, must have a potential tax debt of more than $2 million and annual gross income of more than $200,000. The reward can be up to 30% of the tax collected. So if you want more details on this, visit taxwhistleblowers.org, and that'll get it for you. Well, how about for business owners? Business owners should keep in mind that there are some new tax breaks during the tax planning this autumn for them. Automatic enrollment of employees in 401k plans is permitted under new law. Increasing the participation by rank and file employees in a plan can increase the benefits that are permitted to top paid employees under anti-discrimination rules. So consult with plan administrators now to have automatic enrollment. Make sure you got it in place before the start of next year. Well, how about the domestic production activity deduction? It doubles in size this year. This deduction is producer firms only, such as manufacturers, building contractors, and software makers. Formerly, it was 3%, and it doubles to 6% of net income from qualified domestic production. A 6% deduction can be large for many firms, so don't overlook this. If you need more details on this, go to the IRS Form 8903. That's Domestic Production Activities Production. So, and it'll give you the answers that you really want to have right there. How about this? Extended research tax credits. Now, this credit for research-related activities actually expired way back in 2005, but has been extended now and retroactively back to that 2006. The credit formula is modified to generally provide a larger credit, and a new simplified alternative formula can be attractive to smaller and newer firms. So consult the business's tax advisor about the details. If no credit was taken way back then, you may be able to claim one right now on an amended return for that. So keep that in mind. How about the 13th item? Increased expensing. The Section 179 expensing election, which provides an immediate deduction for the cost of newly acquired business equipment in place of the slower depreciation deductions, is increased to $125,000 from the original $112,000. Equipment must not be purchased, but actually be placed in service by year end to qualify for this acquisition break right now. And let's see, with that, we're going to take a small break, and when we come back, I'm going to give you what to do working after retirement. Has a big impact on benefits and taxes, so we'll talk about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away. We'll be right back.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:49 p.m. Pacific time. Well, damn, it's still 62 degrees here in the heart of the Empire. But if you're one of our listeners in Chicago, Illinois, I'm going to tell you, it's 35 degrees and overcast. You know what? I think I like the 62 degrees a little bit better. Let's talk about, you know what? And don't forget, after this segment, we're going to have our own Dr. Wireless. Joel Saltzman will be here. He's going to be telling you about all the new technology and new plans available for the wireless systems that are out there. You don't want to miss that. He is one of the most knowledgeable people we have on the planet. But right now, let's talk about some transitions. Working after retirement. It has a big impact on benefits and taxes. Today, retirement from a job for many people is only a transition into a new phase of work. More and more seniors are starting businesses or beginning new careers, and some of those never plan to fully retire. Often, they do this for the money as well as to stay active and challenged. What impact does continuing to work have on retirement benefits, such as Social Security, Medicare, and funds in qualified retirement plans and IRAs? To maximize after retirement income and wealth, it's important to know the rules. Let's start off with Social Security benefits. Working into one's retirement years affects Social Security retirement benefits. The impact depends on when you start taking the benefits. And you have three choices. Start taking benefits as early as 62. This is the minimum age to start taking benefits, but there are two drawbacks to this option. First, benefits will be permanently reduced because you're taking them prior to attaining your full federal retirement age of 67 in 10 months. Second, those who earn over the threshold amount of $12,960 are going to see benefits reduced $1 for each $2 that they earn over this amount until they reach the full retirement age. Start at full retirement age, and this age depends on the year of birth. For those that were born in 1943 through 1954, the full retirement age is actually 66. Once that age is achieved, there is no deduction in benefits if you continue to earn income regardless of the amount that you earned. Now, there's a break here. Social Security Administration will continue to adjust benefits annually to take into account any higher earning years. So working after you retire from one job, regardless of your age, up to age 70, can increase your monthly retirement benefits even after you've started taking those benefits. The reason? Benefits are based on the look-back period of your best 35 years of work history. Well, how about delaying benefits until age 70? For every year that you wait to start collecting benefits, the amount that you collect increases up until age 70. Those born in 1943 and later will earn an extra 8% increase in benefits for each year that they wait to collect after their full retirement age and until age 70. There's no reward for waiting any longer than that. You can use an online calculator from the Social Security Administration to see the impact of your age on your benefits. Just go to www.ssa.gov/planners/calculators.HTM. Well, the tax impact? Working while collecting Social Security benefits has two important tax results that should be factored into the decision on when to commence benefits. Tax on Social Security benefits? Any benefits received will be included in income at the rate of 50%, 85%, or 0%, depending on your other income. Those who work likely will trigger that 85% inclusion amount. 85% of their benefits will be subject to taxes, what that means. Now, continued payment of Social Security tax, whether or not you are collecting benefits and regardless of your age, as long as you continue to earn income through a job or self-employment, you continue to pay Social Security and Medicare taxes on that income. So kind of keep that in mind as you move along. How about Medicare? Regardless of whether you are collecting Social Security benefits or are applying for them, be sure to apply for Medicare coverage at age 65. Contact the Social Security Administration several months before this birthday to enroll. If you still have credible health coverage through an employer or a union, apply only for the Medicare Part A. It doesn't cost you anything. It'll provide secondary coverage, paying some things that your commercially provided coverage doesn't pay. Creditable means at least as good at coverage as Medicare provides. Now, ask your employer for a letter confirming that your coverage meets this standard. Now, once you no longer have employer coverage, you should enroll in Medicare Parts B, primarily for doctor's fees, and D for prescription drugs. The fact that you delayed this coverage past age 65 won't result in a penalty as long as you sign up no later than 8 months after your employer coverage terminates for Part B. The Part D must sign up no later. Man, I've got the whole world coming apart on us here. There we go. And so Part D must sign up no later than 63 calendar days after the employer coverage ends, and you must show Medicare a letter from the employer stating that you had credible coverage through this certain date. Now, for more details on this, including the penalty information, visit Medicare at www.medicare.gov, and that'll take care of that. Now, you know what? We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to be with our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. You know what? He always has surprises in store for us. I doubt that this is going to be any different than any other time we have him on the air with us. He is the most knowledgeable man when it comes to wireless services and plans and the things that are available. You're going to want to listen to everything he has to say. Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back after these brief messages with Joel Saltzman, Dr. Wireless.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:59 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 62 degrees, starting to go down a little bit on its way to 40 degrees. And if you're one of our listeners in Paris, France, it is currently 39 degrees and partly cloudy. It's 12:59 a.m. And if you're listening to us, it's time for you to go to bed. Get a life, folks. This thing, our shows are recorded. You can listen to it later on. But right now, here, let's get some fresh air. We've got our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman, waiting in the wings. He is making all kinds of noise in the background. I don't know what he's doing, but Joel, welcome aboard.
Hey, Robert, I hate to be that noisy back here. Sorry about that.
How's everything? That's all right, because you know what it sounded like? It sounded like you were maybe either eating something or drinking something. Hopefully you were drinking something, and then I'm jealous that I wasn't joining you.
Well, I could have sworn I hit the mute switch, so I guess I missed it.
No big deal. No worries. It was interesting. We had Sean LaFave on the show yesterday. And I don't know what the heck happened. He knocked his microphone off the desk, and it sounded like there was a battle going on the other side. I've got a button I can actually turn this stuff off, but sometimes it's just I don't want to take a chance that I'm going to stop the entire broadcast.
Well, I have to apologize, Robert, because
no, apologies.
No, not for that. Oh. What I have to apologize for is last week I reran the show a few days ago, and the sound quality on my end was horrendous. And I couldn't figure out why it was so garbled. And then I realized it was the first week that I tried to use my regular voice over IP phone, my office phone, right, versus using my cell phone. And for some reason, my T-Mobile cell phone seems to be much clearer, is what people tell me.
Yeah, you sound really good right now.
All right. Well, thank T-Mobile. I can't thank Time Warner Voice over IP this week.
Speaking of all those things, you know that I switched over to Verizon Fios, right? Not on my.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, and I got
not on your cell phone. I know you're married to AT&T with that one.
Yeah, I am. I got some news for you on that too. But this Fios this is the greatest thing since sex. Of course, I'm so old that for sex I forget who gets tied up anyway.
No, Fios is wonderful stuff. There's no doubt about that. I'll be in Florida next month, and my brother has Fios, and I enjoy tooling around and getting my iPad online and using his cable. He's got so many channels; it's crazy.
Yeah, I was telling you with the AT&T that I got only one bar if I was lucky at my new residence, and if I stepped outside, I only got 2 bars. And I was thinking, well, Joel is going to finally get me to change providers. But I went down to the AT&T and I complained, and they gave me this thing called
They gave you a device which is a 4G LTE.
Yeah, it's a microcell. And I set up a cell in my new residence, and now I've got 5 bars solid.
And it's all the difference in the world. T-Mobile gives those away free as well. That's the beauty of T-Mobile. It is, for most people, we don't have issues like that. But when somebody has an issue, and I had a doctor who lives in Malibu, same issue. Mm-hmm. Everything worked great with T-Mobile. He travels all over the globe. Loves it, gets off the plane, turns the phone on, everything works. Could not use it in his bedroom of his house in Malibu. And the problem is he could use it in every other room, but for some reason the LTE signal was weak, and he found the same solution you did. And the funny thing is, if you call the carrier, they'll be more than happy to give you one of those. People complain about their wireless carriers, but they don't do anything about it. Yeah. You did something about it, Robert, and you were rewarded.
Yeah. I love this thing.
It makes all the difference in the world, because basically it's like a router. It does the same thing as a router does for Wi-Fi, but instead of using Wi-Fi, it's using AT&T's 4G LTE signal, and it's boosting it and making it available in places you didn't have it. So this is anybody with AT&T who doesn't have one of those is a knucklehead. Same thing with T-Mobile. Yeah. They're available for the asking. So if you don't have good service, get one.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hey, listen, what's new and exciting in the world of wireless technology today?
Oh, Oh, we got all kinds of stuff. I'm going to take you from A to Z. We're going to start off. I'm going to ask you a question. Do you know who the world's most valuable company is today?
Well, it's no longer Apple.
Do you know who it is?
You know what? I read
it. It was Apple. It was Apple, and it actually still is Apple, but there was another company that briefly eclipsed Apple.
And I've forgotten the name. I actually announced it yesterday, but I'm old. I've forgotten this morning, so I forgot the name of the company.
Alphabet.
Ah.
Do you know who Alphabet really is?
I don't have a clue.
It's Google.
Oh, you're kidding.
So next time you need to look something up, you may be alphabeting it.
Well, I'll be darned. You know what?
Isn't that wild? I couldn't understand it. Basically, what happened is Brin and the other dude, the two guys who owned Google, restructured it at the end of October, and they changed the name to it's a big holding company now. And the name is Alphabet, and it's huge. And they briefly eclipsed Apple as the world's most valuable company. You know, and Apple, I think, was, I want to say 568, I think 535 billion or something, or 568. It's a lot of billion. Once you get that much, it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. It's
anything over 500 bill.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. It makes no difference anymore.
So I thought that was interesting. That's huge. That's a big company. A lot of other interesting stuff going on. T-Mobile did it again. They just reintroduced a couple of new deals that are pretty crazy. The first one is you can get 4 lines. And these are great for family plans or businesses. It's 4 lines of unlimited everything, including 4G LTE. So 4 lines, basically it's 3 lines for $150, and they'll give you the 4th line totally free. So any family, 4 lines, there's no reason to spend over $150 a month, and this is everything. This is unlimited everything. It's more than most people would ever need, and that's why I'm going to mention another deal they just broke. Same deal, 4 lines for $120.
Wow.
Or 3 lines for $120, 4th line free. And that deal doesn't give you unlimited data. It gives you 10 gigabytes each per line. Now, that may sound like a lot. It's ridiculous because T-Mobile also gives you the binge deal you've heard about, where you can stream unlimited video on HBO, Hulu, Netflix, like 30 of these for free without even using your data. They give you data stash, which rolls over 20 gigs, up to 20 gigs of data every month. If you don't use it 1 month, it rolls it over. And when you use music and stream music, it doesn't use your data. So you really don't need unlimited data unless you're like me. I have it because I stream stuff all the time. And I don't want to worry about ever running out of data. But this is now affordable. $50. It's either $30 a user for 10 gigs of 4G, and then it slows you down. That's a lot of data. And then for $50, you got the unlimited. And if that wasn't enough, they also just announced that anybody who activates or upgrades gets $100 off on any of the high-end phones, like the Apple 6, 6S, 6 Pluses, any of the Samsung, S6, S6 Edge. It's amazing. So they're really aggressive right now as far as marketing.
When I switched over to Fios, they actually are. They're sending me a credit card with a $500 credit on it.
Absolutely, they got to give it up to get your business, and those offers are wonderful. I mean, why not?
Well, yeah, I can spend the money on anything I want.
Exactly.
And not only that, so I got to tell you, Joel, I'm just tickled to death. I'm paying. I've got better service, better internet, better phone, better everything, and I'm paying $60 a month less than I was with Charter.
Well, you're savvy because you know how this game works, and it's a matter of talking to the carriers. And I don't know if we mentioned it last week, but I have something on our blog which I posted, and I also have it on Facebook. And it's basically how to get a better deal from your carrier.
Yeah, you did tell us last week.
Did we talk about that?
Yeah, but you know what?
I had a few people call me and say, Joel, it worked. That's unbelievable.
And it's worth you saying it again.
All right. Well, I will urge everybody, if they haven't done it yet, to go to www.d, as in David, R's and Rabbit, wireless.com/blog. And there is some very valuable information. I know at least one wireless carrier's management is not happy with me for divulging this, and I could personally care less. It means I'm doing something right. And I've had several people tell me that they've utilized this information. And the beauty of this stuff is I obviously don't get paid, when I give information to somebody and they take it to their carrier and it saves them a ton of money. If you want to buy me a beer for the information, maybe I should, I would accommodate. But this is great stuff. And again, we've talked about this. It's the people who bitch and scream and moan about their service and complain about drop calls who get the preferential treatment. It's the new people they're trying to bring over from other carriers. Unfortunately, those people like us, Robert, that are good model customers that pay our bills on time and don't question the carrier, we're the ones that, if we don't pay attention, are getting the raw deal.
Yeah.
So sometimes you got to speak up. And the beauty of this is these deals I just mentioned regarding T-Mobile, any current T-Mobile user is eligible for this stuff. Whether they want the $100 to do the upgrade, whether they want the unlimited plan for $150 for 4 users, maybe they're paying $300 for the same thing now. Don't wait for T-Mobile to call you and say, by the way, we want to cut your bill $150 each month. Yeah, you have to know a little bit, and that's what we do.
Yeah.
That's why every Wednesday we talk about this stuff. And it's a matter of either calling me or calling the carrier directly. It's very simple stuff. But there's no sense in paying more than you need to. They're happy to collect it, believe me, but you don't need to do that.
Yeah, but they're not going to do it on their own. It's the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right?
Exactly. And the louder you squeak, the more you get grease.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You're amazing. The treasure of knowledge you got tucked away there, it just never fails to boggle my mind. How you come up with all these different things. I mean, things are changing with you every single day. I have no idea how you keep up with it.
Well, I can't say I retain everything, but I do for a while. It's like going in and taking that trig test, when you study for, overnight. You remember it for a while. How long you remember it, it doesn't matter because it changes anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of changing, remember Mophie? We always talk about Mophie.
Yeah.
They're my favorite brand for case/chargers.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they were just beautiful. I mean, to me, anybody who bought an iPhone, I always recommended when I was selling accessories, I always would sell them a Mophie case because A, it protected the device, and they were stylish looking. You didn't want to put a beautiful phone in an ugly case like an OtterBox. That was the problem I had with the OtterBoxes.
Yeah.
And Mophie just did so well. They were the industry standard for high-end stuff. And Apple figured, you know what, we can do this. We don't need you. So Apple started building their own Mophie case. And another company by the name of Zag, who is a huge manufacturer of accessories, mm-hmm. They also specialize in cases. They just bought Mophie for $100 million.
Yeah, I use Mophie, and I just love it. I just think it's fantastic.
Wonderful product. You can set the thing to charge your phone, or you can set it to when you're using your iPhone, you can set it where it's using it from the Mophie directly first, and then the iPhone, and
that's what I do, Joel. I set it so that it uses Mophie first, because then the iPhone thinks that you're charging itself, and it lets me use voice commands for Siri. Where if you're not charging your phone, you got to push the button for Siri.
The other big benefit to that is if you have a long day, sometimes I go to conferences and, normally my day ends at, 6 o'clock. My phone ends at about 6:30. All is good. But on those days where I'm out and about or doing a conference, I can't have my phone die at 6:30. So I'll start the day with a Mophie case. I'll run off the Mophie case. And then at 6:30 or 7, I can take it out of the Mophie case, put it in my breast pocket if I'm wearing a jacket. Mm-hmm. So I'm traveling lighter, and I got an iPhone with 100% battery, like I'm starting the day.
Yeah.
So the Mophie cases are great, and this Zag company, it'll be interesting to see what they do. They're trying to build a third-party accessory empire together, and to compete with the Apple Smart battery cases, and we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting. But it's just another example of Apple wanting more of the pie.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm ticked off at Apple right now. I went over to the Apple Store last Saturday, and I spent 3 hours in there. First of all, I couldn't get an appointment. I kept, on the iPhone, you try to make an appointment, except that it says no appointments. No appointments available. So I got really ticked off, and I got mad, and I went down there because ever since I did that last upgrade, it's messed up with my phone IDs and passwords, right? So I took 2 phones and 2 iPads down there, and the guy at the store couldn't help me, but he did connect me with one of these remote guys who I proceeded to spend 3 hours at the Apple Store with.
Wow!
And they still didn't resolve my problem. I got these things working, but it's just a royal pain in the butt. I am so ticked off at Apple and the way they do things, and they even admitted that they had a software problem with it, and they were working on it. And I think that was just to appease me because I don't think they're doing anything on it.
Well, I had a bad experience with an Apple Store, and I'll never set foot in another Apple Store. When I need Apple product, I buy it from Caltech. Caltech is an Apple authorized dealer, and I work with their computer store, and I get a little better deal, but, besides the point, I go in there, I don't have to put my name in, I don't have to speak to a genius, I don't have to look for my name on a board. I had such a bad experience the one time I went into an Apple store. I think I told you this story. No. I went in to buy a SIM tray. I was in Las Vegas at a CES show, and back in the old days with the iPhones when the battery would die at 2 o'clock, and my solution was I had a bag full of phones. I just popped the SIM card out of the iPhone and put it in my BlackBerry or my Android. Problem solved. Well, I'm in McCarran Airport, and I go to do that, and the SIM tray and SIM card go flying out of my iPhone underneath 2 aisles of seats, and I never found the SIM tray, but I found the SIM card. So I put the SIM card in my BlackBerry. I figured when I got back, I'll go to Manhattan Beach Apple Store, get myself a new SIM, the little tray that pops in and out. It was the only removable part on an iPhone back then, so you'd think it was something they'd have in stock.
Yeah.
So I wait like 20 minutes on my lunch hour, at the store. I finally get up there, and I ask the guy, okay, I need to buy this accessory. He goes, well, you'll need to speak with a genius. I said, well, do you have this thing or not? And he goes, you'll need to talk to a genius. So I have to wait another half hour. I speak with the genius. The genius tells me, no, they don't stock that. They got a wall full of Beltran accessories and car chargers and all kinds of aftermarket stuff, but they don't have this factory part I need for the phone. So he tells me I need to make an appointment. I can make an appointment, order it, and then come back in. And I said, you got to be kidding me. I spent 45 minutes here. I need a $10 part. And they just they didn't have it.
Yeah.
So I figured, okay, to heck with that. So 2 days later, my daughter's, she had a MacBook Pro she had a problem with, and it was under warranty. So she went in. I said, Carly, do me a favor. Here's $10. Pick me up a SIM tray when you're there, and go ahead and order it because they won't have it. So she calls me. She goes, they fixed my computer, but you're out of luck on your SIM tray. I go, what do you mean? She goes, well, they wouldn't order it without your serial number of the device. And I said, look, it's a standard SIM tray. I'm not asking for warranty. They wouldn't do it. To make a long story short, after all that, I ordered it on the internet. It was shipped to me 2 days later. It cost me $10, and I think $1 shipping or something.
Let me go back to something.
But I will never go into one of those stores again. It was almost like I wish I was videotaping it. When he said you have to talk to the genius, I couldn't believe it. I got to talk to a genius to order a part.
Well, let me tell you, they don't have any geniuses at the Apple Store.
Not at the one I went to.
No, but I want to go back to something you said. You said you went to Caltech. You don't mean the school? Is this a store?
Yeah, California Institute for Technology. they're one of my long time clients of over 15 years, and I go out there every Thursday. And and for a long time I had an office in the store, in their computer/bookstore. And whenever I need Apple product or service or support, and you're allowed to go there. You can go on campus and deal with them. They have their own Apple store. It's a very small store. And they have all the Apple product on display, and you don't have to wait. There's no wait. There's no people ahead of you. It's beautiful. And they're wonderful people.
So with my technical problem that nobody seems to be able to resolve, maybe it would be worth my time to go out to Caltech and see if they can fix this thing for me.
They have one tech who is sometimes there, sometimes not. What you might want to do is send me an email, and I can forward it to him and see if it's worth your while going out there. But I would tell you, anytime that you need Apple product, or Apple support, they are a wonderful place to go, and they're trained and authorized by Apple. So listen, it's a way to deal with Apple and not have to go into one of those silly stores.
And that's good to know, because when you do go into those stores, the oxygen is thin because there's so damn many people in there. Give out your contact information so we can take a commercial break, and then we'll come back.
Absolutely. Everything we're going to talk about today is on Facebook/DR Wireless. Also available on www.drwireless.com, and I can be contacted at joel@drwireless.com.
And we'll be right back with our own Dr. Wireless right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live, and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses: website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. You know what? You wouldn't think I was live. I started to come back from the commercial break and forgot to turn my microphone on, for Pete's sake. Anyway, if you're listening to us, one of our listeners in Rome, Italy, it's currently 52 degrees and scattered clouds. Gosh, I wish I was there. Joel, you and I both should be in Rome today.
Well, my mother-in-law lives in Paris, France, but she's in Miami Beach this week. So,
well, you know what? I used to have my first car. I used to refer to my first car as my mother-in-law car. You know what kind of car that is, right? That's a car with.
I don't.
Yeah, that's a car with a crank in the back seat.
I like it. That's classic.
You know, anyway, and I can say that without getting in trouble because my poor mother-in-law's been gone for a long time. So anyway, it's probably.
Yeah, I got to leave that one alone.
Yeah, it's probably kind of tasteless for me to say that, but I have fun with it anyway.
Nothing wrong with a little humor.
Yeah. So listen, so what's new and exciting going on? You've given me a lot of stuff. This Caltech thing, this sounds like it's interesting. I just think by nature of the fact of where they're at, they might be able to do things with my Apple phone that nobody else can.
They may, and I'll ask them. I'll let me see if I can find out.
I'll send you off.
Let me ask you this. Have you heard of a Dutch company called Guard from Above?
No.
Okay, this is something that's pretty interesting. You know, we're having a drone issue right now.
Yes, absolutely.
And there's a Dutch company that it's the first company in the world to use birds of prey to intercept hostile drones.
Really?
And I saw a demonstration of an eagle take down a drone. It was pretty amazing.
Wow. How do they manage to train an eagle to go after a drone like that?
Well, it's very easy. They're very intelligent, and we already use canines to sniff out drugs and bombs. So why not use raptors to tackle drones?
That's true. I mean, have you ever seen an eagle up close? Those things are big. You know, they're really big.
Yes, I have seen them. I'm from Florida, so we see them all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I think I told you once, I had a National Geographic moment. I had a giant red-tail hawk. I was in mainland Mexico one day driving down a dirt road with a buddy of mine. All of a sudden, a 4-foot-long green iguana ran in front of our car.
Wow.
and so I slowed down, just to get my camera out to take a picture of it, and it stopped for a second right in front of the car, about 15 feet in front of the car. So I went to grab my iPhone to take a picture of it, and just as I did, this giant hawk swooped down and grabbed it in its talons and took off, and the tail of this thing slapped the windshield as the hawk flew away with it and landed in a tree with it.
Wow, what a story.
So, I mean, I've seen these birds in action, and it's amazing. But the only issue is, some of these drones have propellers that are moving pretty fast.
Yeah.
So they're trying to figure out a way to train these birds to grab these things so they don't have to worry about getting hit. Their talons are super, super rough.
Yeah.
But in case somebody had one with like an industrial lawnmower engine or something, they don't want the birds to get hurt.
Some of these drones are really big, and and they're not using these plastic propellers. They're using metal propellers that could really harm, any predator that was actually going to get in there. So you got to be. You're right. You got to be careful.
But I did see a demo, and it was amazing. It did work.
Wow.
How about this guy? You hear about the guy who wanted to buy a Tesla, and Elon Musk refused to sell it to him because the guy was rude?
No, I have not heard that story.
Apparently, it's some venture capitalist guy by the name of Stuart Alsop who had ordered one of those new Teslas, and I guess he had written a blog post that was criticizing the company's Model X launch event, and I guess the president or owner, Elon Musk, got wind of it, and Musk canceled his order.
So
talked him on the phone.
Do you suppose if I just say something just glowing and wonderful about Elon Musk and Tesla, that he might just give me one?
Maybe. Who knows? This guy wrote a blog post saying he should be ashamed. You should be ashamed of yourself making Tesla customers wait nearly 2 years for the Model X event to start, and then making them wait even longer for a chance to test drive the car they had pre-ordered. So this guy had pre-ordered one, and I guess he was officially banned by Tesla.
Well, you know what? Great. I think it's great. You know what, Joel, you run into it. I've run into it. Everybody has from time to time. These people that have gained a certain amount of notoriety and success, and they begin to think that they're better than everyone else around them, and they treat you without respect and dignity. And I think that those people need to get it shoved right back in their face.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So we call that justice when that happens.
Yeah. So
you hear Apple got some bad news. You hear about they had a claim that their Apple Watches were impact resistant, and apparently they weren't. And they lost a court case over a cracked screen, so they had to remove the claim that these things are impact resistant.
Yeah, I did see that. And that's going to happen with any, even if it were, they didn't say that it was impact proof. They just said impact resistant. But, somebody's always going to go after you. But I've got, my biggest deal with Apple is that I think that they're cheating their customer. When Steve Jobs was around, he didn't try to convince you, or you weren't buying stuff. My brother was the one who told me this today at lunch. He says, you know what? When Steve Jobs was around, he did something different than everybody else. McDonald's, when they sell hamburgers, what they do is they convince your kids that they've got to have McDonald's. It forces you to go get McDonald's.
Exactly.
But Steve Jobs convinced you that you had to have an iPhone or an Apple product, not for your kids, but for yourself, right? And he did that not because he had the talent to make anything better, not because he had the talent to create these things. He did it because he was a visionary and a perfectionist, and he hired the talent that could put that stuff together, and then he was just a genius marketing guy. And that's what we're missing in Apple today. We have no visionaries. We've got a business guy with Tim Cook, but we don't have a visionary at Apple anymore.
No, I agree. And Steve Jobs, those are going to be some big shoes to fill.
Yeah. So I don't know why. I'm giving Apple too much airtime today, but I'm not giving them good airtime. I'm giving them too much airtime.
Well, they say bad press is better than no press, and I have to agree. Even if they're getting bad press, the fact that they're being talked about is a good thing.
Yeah.
And they make a great product. Look, you got one, I got one. There's probably a billion people that have them, so they're doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? It's interesting. I was with my son-in-law the other day, and he's got the Apple 6 Plus, the big guy, right? And and I keep looking at that. I know that you like it. I know you'd like to have one. I just don't see that as being very functional for walking around and doing business and putting in your pocket. That thing's a big phone.
Yeah, it's not going to be a one-hander, unfortunately, and I've just come to love being able to do everything with one hand with my phone. So I may be disappointed, with the bigger screen, but at the same time, I'm streaming surfing contests when I'm away from the office. I'm, watching all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
The bigger screen, the eyes aren't getting any better. So I probably will go with a bigger screen one but I'm using the 6 now, and I'm quite content.
Well, I've gone a step better. I actually got Apple TV, and now I've got it on a 65-inch TV, and I love it.
No, that's the way to go. That's the way to go. I think I told you a long time ago I bought a couple of iMacs, and I hooked them up with HDMI cables to all my big screens. I got a 55-inch Mitsubishi iMac in the living room, and I got a 42-inch in my office. And it's great because I can watch TV on them, or I can flip the switch to HDMI 2, and they're basically like Apple computers on steroids. The screen's amazing. I got a wireless keyboard and a wireless mouse, so I could be anywhere in the room. I could sit on my sofa, and it's very comfortable.
Yeah, that I'm really liking. It's just really cool. Where are we? Let's see. We got about 3 minutes before we hit the
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you about one other innovation. A guy at Google, one of the employees, made a homemade do-it-yourself smart mirror. And basically, it's a two-way mirror, and he's got it set up to run Google Now. So it's the internet. It's like an Internet of Things device that we all want. Imagine waking up in the morning, you look at your mirror, it tells you 59 degrees, light rain tonight, has the time, has the clock, shows you all of your appointments, gives you the news. It's all right there on the mirror as you're combing your hair and shaving.
Oh, that's cool.
What a brilliant idea! It's called a smart mirror.
That's cool. That's really cool. You know, one of the things that I enjoy about my iPhone is I'll put appointments and things in there, and if I have to travel someplace, it knows that I've got to travel, and it'll alert me and say, "Hey, traffic's heavy. You need to leave a little earlier." You know, and it'll tell me the time I need to leave to get to where I'm going to go on time. You know, you don't have to think anymore. All you got to do is have a smartphone.
It really makes life much easier.
So tell me more about this mirror.
Well, it's a product that I think we'll probably see marketed. I guess there's probably companies that are already doing it. This guy just took a two-way mirror, display panel, some cheap components, and a controller board, and he was able to knock this thing off. And it looks pretty darn impressive. It looks like a mirror and kind of like a combination of your smartphone and a big mirror. You know, it looks like, you know, what your smartphone would look like as far as the content you see on the screen, but it's on, you know, superimposed on a mirror at the top of a mirror. So it just seems to me like a wonderful idea, especially like a to-do list. You know, you get up in the morning and go into the bathroom, and before you even figure out what's going on, you see what you got to do.
And you got to hope like hell it doesn't have a two-way camera, right?
Exactly. That's a good, who knows? A two-way glass. Who knows who's on the other end?
You know, anyway, my friend, give out that contact information. We got about 20 seconds before we got to go.
All right. Everything we talked about, Robert, is available at Facebook/DR Wireless. Also available on our blog, www.drwireless.com. And anybody who needs assistance or help with their wireless or has any questions about this stuff can reach me personally at joel@drwireless.com.
Hey, Joel, fantastic show. I don't know what direction you wanted to go in. I know I took up a lot of your time, but I just love talking to you and asking questions. And you are just a treasury of knowledge.
Well, I wish I was a treasury of money, but I guess knowledge is the next best thing.
All right. Hey, go out, make it a great day. Make it a great day. Stay safe, stay happy, make everybody's life around you better, because that's what you do. We'll be right back.
Likewise, thank you.
Thank you. We'll be right back with the birthdays for the day, the secret daily teachings for your life, the Harvard business tip of the day, and interesting but useless facts. Don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And at 4:41 p.m. Pacific time, it is currently 61 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, if you're one of our listeners in London, England, it's currently 41 degrees and clear. But you know what? It's also 20 minutes to 1 o'clock in the morning. You got to get a life, folks. Go to sleep and listen to the show in the morning. Get one of my apps. That's what I want you to do. If you have an Apple product or you have a Windows product or an Android product, you can get my app absolutely free. If it's Windows and Android, go to googleplay.com and just search Robert Cardoza Live, and it'll come up there. It's absolutely free. Download it. And if you have an Apple product, just go to the Apple Store, do the same thing, search Robert Cardoza Live. It's there. It's absolutely free. Download it. You can listen to us live. If we're broadcasting live, it'll say so right there. Otherwise, you can pick any of our broadcasts and listen to those broadcasts anytime you want at your convenience. You can even chat with us during the show if you choose to do that, and we encourage you to do it. We encourage you to tell all of your friends about that as well. Well, you know what? It's time for the Harvard Business Tip of the Day, and the management tip today is your next presentation needs a villain and a hero. Let me explain. Make your next presentation more compelling by focusing on its three main actors: the villain, the victim, and the hero. In software, the villain might be slow or unreliable programs. The victims are frustrated users, and the hero is a new or updated technology that works correctly and efficiently. In manufacturing, the villain might be expensive or defective products. The victims or the consumer is paying for them, and the hero is safe merchandise that performs as promised. Now, when you're telling a story, paint a colorful picture of your customers' difficulties while displaying ample sympathy for their plight. If you depict the consumer's predicament in gritty, sympathetic terms, then the virtue of your company should resonate with customers, colleagues, and media alike. Give it some thought. It works. It's a good way to have meetings. It's a good way to handle these things. Now, let's talk about the secret daily teachings for your life. And you hear me talk about this every single day. This is all about having a positive mental attitude. You know what? You control your life. You control whether you're going to be rich or poor, successful or a failure, whether you're going to be happy or sad. You also control that in the environment around you. It's all about having a positive mental attitude. So the secret for today is to connect to all the wisdom and all the good that is the intelligence of the universe. You must be in alignment with it. To do as the past greats did and get on the frequency of unlimited possibilities, all wisdom, all power, and all good which is permanently available to each and every one of us, you must know that this infinite creative power does exist and radiate all the good in your mind and your heart. You have got to have a positive mental attitude. Or you know what? You know when bad things happen to you? It's because you got a positive mental attitude to bad things are going to happen to you. That light is either the tunnel is a train, right? An oncoming train. Create a positive mental attitude, not a negative one. You'll be glad you did. This stuff works, folks. I'm telling you, it really does. Now, let's talk about the today, Wednesday, February the 3rd. You know what it is. It's a special day. It's somebody's birthday. Oh, yeah, we got some good ones for you today. This person was born in 1894, passed away in 1978. A painter and an illustrator. His works enjoy a broad popular appeal, especially in the United States. Happy birthday, Norman Rockwell. And here's a guy that we all know or remember, or most of us do anyway. He was born in 1940, past football player with the Vikings and the Giants, as well as a commentator on Monday Night Football. Do you know who it is? Yeah, happy birthday, Fran Tarkington. And then finally, born in 1947, a rock musician, singer, and lead guitarist, best known for his membership with the English rock band The Kinks. Happy birthday, Dave Davies. Yeah, well, what happened today in history? Well, on February the 3rd, 1690, the colony of Massachusetts issues the first paper money in America. And in 1913, the 16th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution is ratified, authorizing the federal government to impose and collect an income tax. Yuck. Yep, that's when it happened, folks. And in 1959, a plane crash in Iowa kills Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper. And the incident becomes known as the day the music died. Well, our quote for today comes from Edith Wharton. And Edith says, if only we'd stop trying to be happy, we could have a pretty good time. You know, that's prolific. That's a good thing, right? Absolutely. Well, you know what? Let's get into our interesting but useless facts. I'm getting to where I like this part of the show more and more all the time. Some of it is just astounding me when we do this research to get this stuff. Did you know that a shark's teeth are literally as hard as steel? Yeah, boy, give that some thought the next time you go swimming in the ocean, right? And how about this? Walt Disney's youngest daughter is named Sharon. So, do you care? I don't care. I don't know why. How about this? Did you know that catatrophobia is the fear of mirrors? Yeah, I don't care about that either. How about this? Birds do not have sweat glands, so their bodies cannot cool down through perspiration. Their bodies cool by flight or, when at rest, panting. That's sort of halfway interesting. How about this one, though? Crocodiles have the strongest bite of any animal in the world. Now, give that one some thought. Did you know an astronaut can be up to 2 inches taller returning from space? The cartilage discs in the spine expand in the absence of gravity. 2 inches taller. Wow. So if the spacesuit was a little tight when he launched, what happens when he's coming back? Does he become, like the Hulk and bust out of that thing? I don't know. Did you know that? Here's one. The pygmy marmoset is the smallest type of monkey, with adults weighing between 120 and 140 grams. Yeah, that's small. That is small. It is against the law in Pueblo, Colorado, to raise or permit a dandelion to grow within the city limits. Go figure. Get a life. Can you believe there's a law for that? Did you know that 8% of people have an extra rib? I guess they're not relatives of Adam's, huh? Well, let me leave you with this one. Spaying or neutering your dog before the age of 6 months can help prevent cancer in your dog. There's an interesting thing. And then for my brother David, who may or may not be listening today, I want you to know, David, that most American car horns honk in the key of F. And with that, I'm going to leave you for a small commercial break. And when we come back, you know what? Yeah, when we come back from this commercial break, I don't know what the heck happened to the doggone commercial break. Anyway, here we go. We got it right here. When we come back from this commercial break, I'm going to be answering your emails, as I always do. And the first one is from Francisco Skews from Warwick, Rhode Island, asking about a head of household status. I'll tell you all about it right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, General Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And if you're one of our listeners in Vienna, Austria, it is currently 41 degrees and mostly cloudy. But you know what? You folks need to be asleep, as I've said it before. You can, if you're listening to us because you're working late, and otherwise, you know what? Get our archives, get our apps, and listen to them that way. That's the best way to listen to our show. And my brother asked me today if you got an automatic reminder. And I don't know. I got to find out. It should, but I'm not sure. Anyway, let's get to our questions today, our emails. I want to remind you this is an entertainment part of the show, and we do our best to give you a comprehensive answer to your questions, but sometimes the information you give us is just a little bit sketchy. So we always encourage you to talk to a licensed professional before you do anything. They're going to save you more money than they cost you generally. And you know what? They're going to give you peace of mind, let you sleep at night, because they're required as part of their licensing requirement to have errors and omissions insurance. That's the same thing as malpractice insurance, by the way, but that does mean if they make a mistake, they pay the piper, not you, and that's the way you want it to be. Well, our first email today comes from Francisco Skews from Warwick, Rhode Island. He's asking about head of household issues. It says, my wife moved out last year, leaving me with the children, but we haven't divorced. She refuses to file a joint return with me. Since I provided a home to our children, can I file my return as a head of household to get a lower tax rate than I would by filing separately? Well, you know what, Francisco? If your wife left your home during the first half of the year, then the answer to your question is yes. Now, according to the IRS, you also qualify for head of household status if you, though married, file a separate return. Now, your spouse was not a member of your household during the last 6 months of the tax year, and you provided for a qualifying child more than half the cost of maintaining as your home a household that was the main home for more than one half of your tax year. So take a look at IRS publication 501, that's exemption, standard deduction, and filing information for detailed rules on this. And hopefully that'll help you. Well, next email comes from Sean Hartunian from Cary, North Carolina. He's asking about Roth IRAs, pros and cons, and says, our mother lives on Social Security and money from an IRA or an IRA and is in a low tax bracket. We children disagree about whether she should convert her IRA to a Roth IRA. What do you think? Well, Sean, I have too few facts about your family situation to really know for sure. But in general, if your mother expects to consume her IRA, she may be best leaving it as is since she pays little tax on it anyhow. Now, on a conversion to a Roth IRA, her current IRA balance will be taxable and may pile up into a higher tax bracket than she would otherwise ever pay. But if she plans to leave her IRA funds to her heirs, a conversion might make sense. She would pay a modest tax because she's in that lower tax bracket on the conversion, but make the Roth IRA funds tax-free to the heirs who may be in a higher tax brackets at that time. Now, a Roth IRA's lack of minimum annual distributions during her lifetime might also allow her to leave more IRA funds to the heirs. So, best thing I can say is consult an expert about the details of your situation, and you'll be glad that you did that, I promise you. And finally, my last email today comes from Parker Holohan from Spartanburg, South Carolina, asking about Social Security benefits and says, is it true that Social Security benefits are taxed only when you take them before age 65? Well, unfortunately, Parker, no, that's not true. But Social Security benefits may be reduced when you take them before your normal retirement age if you have earned income. Now, this may seem like a tax, but it isn't. It's just part of the benefit formula. When you reach normal retirement age, this earned income reduction actually stops. Let me give you an example. If you're receiving Social Security benefits and will not reach your normal retirement age this year, Social Security is going to withdraw $1 of benefits for every $2 that you earn over $13,560. Now, regardless of your age, part of your Social Security benefits may be subject to income tax. Up to 50% of benefits are taxable when adjusted gross income, or AGI, plus 1/2 of Social Security benefits plus all of tax-free interest exceeds $25,000 on a single return or $32,000 on a joint return, and up to 85% may be taxed when AGI exceeds $34,000 on a single return or $44,000 on a joint return. Now take note, normal retirement age varies with the year of birth. For details, visit the Social Security Administration Social Security Online website at www.ssa.gov. You know what? And that'll you'll be glad you did that. And you know what? And so will I. It's going to make life a lot easier for you, me, and everybody else. Right now, we got to have a great show tomorrow. In our show tomorrow, my guest is going to be Sean Lefebvre, and Sean Lefebvre is going to spend an entire hour with me. He is an expert on healthcare, and he and I generally get involved in healthcare issues, and we get involved in current events, and we get involved in all kinds of stuff. He and I are probably going to solve the world's healthcare problems and discuss current events at the same time tomorrow. So please tell all your friends to join us tomorrow, and tell them all about my show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network.
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.